Coffee Breaks Thursdays with Jason Zlatkus. We're live. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Coffee Breaks Thursdays with Jason Zlatkus. I, of course, am your host, Jason Zlatkus. Thanks for joining me on this Thursday here. I am glad to see you. I'm glad to be here. We are live from Los Angeles today, and it is, it's kind of cold here today, and it's not cold like the rest of the country. It's LA cold. So, yesterday I talked to a director in Michigan, and he was telling me about how cold it was in Michigan, and he was telling me about how cold it was in Michigan, and I was thinking I'm sitting in the backyard with a t-shirt on, in the sun. And when I say the backyard, man, that's a stretch here in LA. It's a little porch, about yay big, about so big. And so that's going on, and so it's a cold day here in LA, and but it's a wonderful day. The sun is out today, and it looks great, and we're doing our thing. So welcome to Coffee Breaks Thursdays with Jason Zlatkus. It is Thursday, and I am Jason Zlatkus. So good to see you. Let's get right to it. My week was pretty crazy. Speaking of the Midwest, I did an audition this week, and it was really funny because it was for the Midwest, and I can't tell you too much about it. I really can't. But they wanted somebody who looks like they're from the Midwest, and they asked me to audition, which I don't feel like I look like a Midwest person. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I don't know. But I feel like I look more like a California guy, But they had me audition for this Midwest part, and it was really interesting because it was basically like a video where they were trying to get people from the Midwest to embrace more progressive ideals or whatever, and so they were using this video to do it, and it was really funny because I'm not really sure why not just get someone from the Midwest to film this, but they were auditioning people here in Los Angeles to show it in the Midwest, which I thought was really crazy. So even the stuff, it just made me think, you're looking at a video where this guy is supposed to be telling you something about the Midwest, and the truth is he's somebody like me. He's somebody sitting here in LA that's like, hey man, listen, I look like I'm from the Midwest, and you should believe what I'm telling you. But the truth is just somebody like me fed a script. It's I don't even know where rural Johnson County is, just for the record. But they didn't pick me anyway, so you're not going to see me in rural Johnson County. But I auditioned for it anyway. I imagine the guy they picked looks like he's from the Midwest. So anyway, moving right along. Let me see here. I did have a commercial, which was a neat thing. It was a solar commercial that I did, and the idea they were trying to pitch to the Midwest was solar products. So they were saying, look, hey, you hillbillies, get with this solar product. And I tease, but actually, hang tight. We'll get to that. But I had a commercial for a solar product that I did do, and it was a couple years ago. And the next thing I know, my brother writes me, and he goes, hey man, I saw you in a commercial for this product. And I was like, really? Dude, I can't believe you saw that. Like, I never knew that commercial came out. It just happened like 2 days ago. And so I did this commercial that I didn't know was out. So now I've seen it. It's online, and it's for this solar awning. But the interesting thing is, when I shot it, the company had a different name. So I don't know if the company changed hands or if the product got bought by somebody, but now the product is out there, and there's a whole bunch of commercials with me in it. They got 4 of them, and some of it I've never even seen before. The footage, I got some commercial, but it was under the other company's name, and it was 2 years ago. Now the commercial's back under a different company. I don't even know if I'm supposed to get paid for that. I have no idea. So anyway, that happened in my week this week. Also, like I said, I was talking to a director from Michigan. He asked me to audition for a role, which is the bad guy or the good guy. No, he's both. So that's what I always get. I always get the guy that you can't trust, which makes me wonder about me. How come I'm the guy you can't trust in movies? Like my very first full-length movie I was in, I'm the human who betrays the survivors, the people in a zombie movie. I'm the bad human in the very first movie I was cast in. Thank you. My friend Nancy is giving me advice. Nancy, give that to me later. Anyway, no, I love it. Thank you. But anyway, the point is, yeah. See, I have no idea. Like, I honestly, when I got the video, I thought that was the end of it. I didn't know it was. I never thought I'd ever have to look on a contract, but I have it somewhere. Anyway, going back to what I was talking about. Don't derail the story. This is a show. Anyway, my point is I always seem to be the human being you can't trust. So this guy says, hey, I saw you on Facebook and I want you to audition for this role. And Warren keeps saying, hey, to me. So hi, hello, shout out to producer Warren Madden. I was going to get to you, but you're obviously in a hurry. Warren Madden is the producer of our show, everybody. He's watching, and he's the best producer there is. He works hard to bring us guests every week. He really does. We have killer guests lined up. Today's show is Adam Freeman, who just directed an amazing film called Deadly Dealings. We're going to bring him on just shortly. I got to tell you, I saw the trailer for this thing. The makeup in this is astounding. You guys are going to want to see this. Hang tight. Adam Freeman is coming on. But also, we got lined up. We got Felicia Rose coming on from Sleepaway Camp. We got James Troop coming on. You've seen this guy in the Jardiance commercial that's running on TV. Dude's a voice in South Park. I got him coming on the show for you guys. So hang tight. We got guests coming up. Producer Warren Madden did that for you guys. So there's your shout out, Warren. You can stop saying hey to me. I see you're there. No, I'm glad you're here. I'm always glad you're there, man. Anyway, my point is moving on. I could go back to how I've been in this commercial. But the point is I was in this commercial. It was really cool. My brother spotted me in the wild. If you see it, look for it. I think it's called Expanse. I don't even know now. But anyway, look for that. And also, if you want to cast me in your movie as the guy you can't trust, for some reason, that seems to be a role I get. So you could definitely do that. But let's move on. It's time on our segment for Handsome History. Let's have a sip of coffee. Coffee Breaks Thursdays with Jason Zlatkus. Starting Handsome History. It's actually more of a fun fact this week. I've got some great history coming up, but hang tight. I recently heard that Toy Story 2, somebody at Pixar deleted the copy of Toy Story 2. This is before the movie ever came out. We're lucky we got to see it. Somebody deleted the film. Then it turned out that the backups at Pixar had not been working for a month. Like, nobody, I guess, knew that the backups weren't storing. So Toy Story 2 got completely deleted from Pixar. And what happened was somebody was on maternity leave who had a copy of the film on their hard drive. And that's how come we got to see the movie. Was because somebody who was on maternity leave kept that movie. And not only did somebody on maternity leave keep that movie, that person, Galen, I wrote it down, Galen Sussman, is now the producer of the new Buzz Lightyear movie. So that person has saved Toy Story for us. So thank you to Galen Sussman for saving Toy Story. Moving on with Handsome History. Probably my most favorite fun fact of the day, as our guest this week, Adam Freeman, is from Tennessee. Now, immediately I wanted to attack Tennessee for being this whatever southern, hillbilly town. But we all know it's the birthplace of country music. It's the place where Martin Luther King got shot. We know a lot about Memphis. We know a lot about Tennessee. We know those kind of things. But did you know that Tennessee is the birthplace of Mountain Dew? And, I mean, maybe our guest does, but I didn't know that. Anyway, Mountain Dew was born in Tennessee, and it was actually created by two brothers who were using it as a mixer for whiskey. And they called it Mountain Dew because Mountain Dew happens to be a code name for moonshine. So there you go. That was how Mountain Dew. And this is my favorite part, was the original bottles had a sketch on it of somebody they called Willie the Hillbilly. So there you go. Mountain Dew was created with Willie the Hillbilly and was sold as a whiskey mixer in Tennessee. So that was your first fun fact. My other favorite fact was Davy Crockett is from Tennessee. I didn't know that. And shout out to my dad, big Davy Crockett fan. So shout out to my dad out there. I know my mom will come on here any minute and be like, hi, Jay, I'm working, but I have to step back. And then, anyway, Davy Crockett is from Tennessee. And he, of course, as we all know, was killed in the Alamo. And Tennessee is the volunteer state, which is another thing I didn't know. And because the truth is I don't care about Tennessee. So I learned a whole bunch of stuff and now I care. But it's the volunteer state because in the War of 1812, they had volunteers join up. And after Davy Crockett was killed in the Alamo in the Mexican-American War, Tennessee had 30,000 volunteers sign up to fight because they were, like Davy Crockett was from there. So they had to go avenge their fallen heroes. So Tennessee had 30,000 people sign up for the Mexican-American War. And that's why Tennessee is called the volunteer state. There you go. That's Handsome History this week, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And we're going to get to our guest, Adam Freeman, coming on. We're going to talk a whole bunch of stuff. We're back to exorcists this week. We're back to sharks. We're back to hookers and werewolves. We're back to that. So it is going to be on the test. Yes, it is. There should be a whole segment of Handsome History for those who don't wish to sit on. I don't care if you wish to see it or not. I do it for me. Anyway, of course I do it for you. I do it for the people. I'm here for the people. Anyway, I'm feeling good this week, you guys. We're bringing on Adam Freeman. Look at this. He wants to be on. This guy, what he's doing. I hope this pays off. Let's hope the audio this week pays off. I appreciate you guys out there watching there today. Oh, I want to tell you one more thing. Oh, I'm not going to get to tell you. There he is. Look at that. Success. Adam Freeman, welcome to Coffee Breaks Thursdays with Jason Zlatkus.
Thank you for having me.
I saw your test yesterday with producer Warren Madden, and I see you got that cool artwork in the back. I love it when the guest has cool stuff in the back, so thanks for doing that.
Thank you.
So you're born in Tennessee.
Born in Kentucky. Adopted and then raised in Tennessee.
Really? Okay, so I think I read your bio said you were born in Tennessee. So you're actually born in Kentucky, where another guest of ours who's been on, Liz Fletcher, she's from there. So you're born in Kentucky, and then you moved to Tennessee, or it was adopted and raised in Tennessee.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so we won't hold it against you then. Did you know those things? Did you know Davy Crockett was from there?
I did know that. I know, like, back when I was in school and stuff, they really hounded down the Tennessee history on us, so got a good piece of that.
Okay, so that is a thing. So, okay, I didn't know because I guess you learn about the state's history that you're in. Anyway, let's move on to your illustrious career. I want to start with this. My one favorite question here is, so you're working at some point, you're working as a barista. You're working as I don't know if it's a Starbucks, but you're working as a barista somewhere. And
I actually quit that job, and I have been at a emergency dispatch center for a little bit.
Who wrote your bio? Why is this information I've got incorrect? Who wrote that?
I need it updated. There's probably a few bios out there on me that just needs to be updated. But I was a barista, and it was one of my dreams to work in a coffee shop, so I really do miss it.
Okay, so I'm watching this trailer for a movie, and it's not. This isn't about you being a coffee shop worker. This is leading somewhere, I promise. But okay, so I'm watching this trailer for this movie called Father Stu, coming out with Mark Wahlberg, and in it, he wants to be an actor really bad, so he gets a job at this meat counter or whatever, and he starts talking to every single person about acting. Now, what I read in your bio, which now may not be correct, but that was sort of your thing. You were working at the coffee shop, and then you started talking to people like he does in that film. That's part of your real life. Like you said, So that's sort of what drew you in. Is that correct?
It is. Dale Dickey actually was one of our customers at the coffee shop, and she was just recently on the show Claws, which is like my favorite TV show of all time. And she has been in a lot of amazing movies like Winter's Bone with like Jennifer Lawrence. And there was another actress, I cannot remember her name. She was from CSI Miami. And they would just come in, and I spoke with Dell a little bit about the acting, and she was like, you need to do it independently and do what you want to do. So that's kind of what led me to this career working in the horror genre.
Well, okay, so when other actors said, listen, only a fool would do this, you should do it for the passions of why you want to do it, right? Like essentially, like being an actor is a psychotic thing to do, so do it for passion. That's what you were told? And so your passion then is horror movies.
I do. I love horror films. I grew up on them. I lived in a video store for hours growing up. And that just, I never dreamed I'd be working in it, but here I am.
So that's what okay. So tell us how that happens. You go from a guy who's just like talking to actors how do you then jump from, because I think this would be interesting to a lot of people who want to break in the industry. How do you go from a guy working at a coffee shop to a guy now producing a film that's fantastic? I mean, how do you do that?
Well, it all kind of starts back about, do you remember when the Haiti earthquake was going on about 10 years ago? 10 or 11 years ago?
It sounds vaguely familiar, but I wasn't in
Yeah.
Haiti at the time, so.
There was a massive earthquake that killed lots of people, and I actually went over there to work, and I would work in orphanages, and I would work with people who had lost their homes. We would have to like dig people out of the rubble, the buildings. I mean, it was a mess. And what I needed was a way to escape from that when I came back to the United States. So I was working at a coffee shop and I had these issues, kind of like trying to deal with things for a few years. And I, I had, spoken with Dale, and I had a few other friends like Gail Thackeray from Sorority House Massacre 2 and Camille Keaton of I Spit on Your Grave. And they all were just saying, kind of pushing me towards acting. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I went to a talent agency, and it was Gage Talent Agency. And there they have it separated. Like, if you don't know the craft, they have a Hollywood acting coach who you can go take classes from. And then when you're ready, you can make the decision if you wanted to get into the agency or just do it by yourself. So I had taken acting classes from Joy Morris, who does the Eric Morris technique with her little bit of a spin on it. And I just decided to do it independently. And then I wound up getting my first role in a Sorority House Massacre Part 3, which unfortunately did not happen.
Whoops. Oh man, we lost our guest there, folks. Wow, dude, I'm like stunned. I can't. I don't even want to ask the question. Like, you go to Haiti. I can't even imagine what that's like. I mean, I made a joke about it, but you guys know, and that's a deadly serious thing. And of course, I wouldn't play about that. But my mom's like, Jason, you made a joke about that. It's so horrible. No, I didn't meet mom. But anyway, that's unbelievable. And then I can't wait till he comes back on. In the meantime, let's see if we can bring him back on. But it looks like he's coming back on here. Hopefully, his internet is good. But I'm stunned by the story he's telling me that he comes back. That's what I'm talking about. This is why I love this show. This is why I love actors. Everybody has their path, and acting it can be for everybody. Like and to go independent with it, man, I'm stunned by that. While we're Adam, come back. Warren's over there. Producer Warren Madden is going to get Adam back on. No worries here. We'll get him back on. I did have another fun fact I want to tell you in the meantime. I learned that the dollar store in the UK, okay, now in the UK, I learned that the dollar store is called Poundland in the UK. There's your fun fact. Isn't that great? Poundland. So when you're in the UK, I hope you get to go to Poundland. All right, let's see. We're going to bring Adam back on. I am stunned by this story. Coffee Breaks Thursdays with Jason Zlatkus. You cannot find this anywhere else. We're talking about Adam Freeman goes to Haiti. He comes back. He's like, yo, what am I going to do? Haiti like messed me up. I was there helping these people, and now I must pursue my dream. Continue, Adam, please.
Okay, I do apologize on internet issue. So
Live TV,
I
man. We're all good.
I had went to Haiti, and I came back and went to this agency, and I decided to do it independently. I was also a truck driver, and I drove 48 state at the time. Um, and then I wanted something where I could just have friends that was in one spot instead of just being everywhere. It just really drove me crazy. So went to that agency, learned my craft, and then I got cast in Sorority House Massacre Part 3. Um, then the film did not happen, and I got cast in a film called Truly Madly. So that
Yeah,
that's where
so
it took off.
tell us about that. Truly Madly. Who did that movie? That was not a Donald Farmer one, right?
That was Brian Dorton.
Brian Jordan. That's right. Okay, so tell us about your role in that leads you to that. That's your first starring role.
That was my
Your
first
first
starring
lead.
role, first lead, and first
Right.
role.
Okay.
So
Wow. You're first right off the bat. You're a lead. You just that whatever. Where is this agency that Miracle got you lead role right off the bat?
well, they actually didn't get it for me. I
Right.
just went out and just learned the craft in that auditioned, and then from there, um, they were like, you seem really passionate about this, and you know how to act. Um, and I just kind of had like a knack for producing as well, so I just kind of got into it, just producing it, and with the director, um, and it was the one film that almost scared me away from acting a little bit, and it not that it was bad, but the conditions, like it was so hot on set, and they wanted me to shave my entire body, and it was 116-degree weather. I did this for almost 2 years, every weekend, and I was incredibly sick during like the first three films that I did, like deathly ill. And luckily, I'm not anymore. But I made it through, and it didn't scare me away, and I'm very proud of the film now.
So, right, filming conditions are something I think a lot of actors, a lot of people don't understand. And that's something I like to talk about. Like, if you're not sweating or if you're not freezing, you're likely not filming. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
that's how I feel, right? So as a director now, do you try to take care of actors in that way? Is that something you try to go, hey, look, man, we're not doing 116. I'm not trying to ask you to shave your whole body, although you have a character that wears full body makeup. Well, how do you approach it as a director? How do you meet
Um,
that medium?
the way that we did Deadly Dealings, since I had to get everybody there, and I wanted to make it as comfortable as possible, so we went out and bought like $400 worth of groceries. Got everybody a place to stay in an Airbnb, and they all had their own rooms. Everybody paid. Um, and I've had a bad experience before on film, and I want when people know my name or they hear it, they say, oh, that's a good person to work with. So I want to make sure that everyone's comfortable because I feel like that's your reputation at the same time, with how your set is. So I made sure that everyone was comfortable. We had the AC on, and then whenever we were filming, we cut it off a little bit, and then it would stay cool though while we were there on that set.
Right. You have to, that's another thing people don't know. You have to unplug the air conditioner. You have to unplug the refrigerators on independent sets that,
Yeah,
all of those things are in someone's real house, typically, or like you said, in an Airbnb,
yeah,
a location. Even a studio has, some sort of fan.
yeah.
So, okay. So you do try to take care of your actors. I love what you're saying. Let's go so in that film, then you go from there to what? Savage Vengeance? Is that your next movie?
Savage Vengeance was I used to be like really passionate about how men were portrayed in film. And Savage Vengeance was originally the original was an official sequel to I Spit on Your Grave. And what I wanted to do was, I've had friends who have been attacked in real life, and have had situations. And if they're a man, most people are like, why didn't you fight back? Or, they're like, oh, whatever. And I was like, I don't like that. So I'm going to take on this role. It involved a lot. It involved being fully nude in um, how would you explain it? It was a community that was an artistic community. So like the houses around, like you could go by and see somebody like painting someone nude outside, and there's like people all around, So that was where we were at. And like in this experience, I had to drop the robe and be that way for 4 hours on set and get attacked.
So okay, so it's sort of an opposite of I Spit on Your Grave? Like it's a man
It
being
it's got it all. It has male and female violence where it doesn't just focus on female violence. Because a lot of the exploitation films they go for that, and I think it's important that you do show a mixture because that's what real life is. So I took the role and I didn't hold back. I let it all out and gave it my all. That way I could represent that that type of situation.
And for you, being it's your Savage Vengeance, I guess, is a remake of, like you said, the sequel to.
Yeah.
So was that something for you as an actor? Was that like a moment where you were like, I mean, it sounds like an
Ooh.
extraordinarily difficult role, but was that a moment for you to get to be in a remake of something you love?
Yes, it really was because when I was a kid and Savage Vengeance, like I first heard about it, I loved Asking on Your Grave because I watched all the video nasties, way too young. But so when I first knew about Savage Vengeance, it was an urban legend. Like, did it really exist? It was when the internet was first coming around, and they had blogs, and people would talk about it. And I was like, oh, there's a sequel out to Axe on Your Grave. Like, I want to see it, you know? And little did I know, like later in life, I would be in the remake. So,
Right. I just think that's crazy. Like, how things sort of come full circle in the acting world, you know. So let's
yeah,
talk about, I think, you were in a, I thought I had written down that you were in another remake, but maybe I got that wrong.
I
Let's
was
move. Oh, okay. Which
Cannibal
one was that?
Hookers. Cannibal
Cannibal
Hookers.
Hookers.
I'm
That
very
is
proud of that one.
so okay.
Yeah.
So I love this show because nowhere else can you say I'm very proud of Cannibal Hookers. Like,
I
you know
was
what I mean?
really proud of it. Yeah.
Right. Like, could you imagine if you went in the grocery store and said, "Hey, listen, I'm really proud of Cannibal Hookers." Like, that would be
Oh, I know.
a. So Cannibal Hookers. Tell me about that. How does that come around? Like, that's a Donald Farmer movie.
It's a Donald Farmer film, and it was the one video that my parents would never allow me to rent as a kid on the shelf. And I always wanted to watch it. It was always there. I never got to see it until like a few years ago. I got it on DVD, and then just randomly, Donald asked me. He was like, "Hey, I need someone to fit this role. Would you want to do it?" And I was just like, "What is it?" And he was like, "Cannibal Hookers," and I was like, "Yes." I didn't care what role it was. I was going to take it and do it. And that was the one film that I met so many people and networked with. And now I've been in like numerous films with a lot of people that's from that film. So,
So, so you've worked with Donald Farmer then, besides outside of Cannibal Hookers, which sounds like an amazing film, I suppose. um,
yeah,
you've worked with him. You've worked with him on other films, including Shark Exorcist 2.
yes. Our Shark Exorcist 2 was such a blast to film. I mean, who doesn't like shark movies, right? So, um, when I had seen the original, and I really thought that the original was just a fun, campy film, and I loved it. And then being able like to know that there was a part two that was happening. I mean, they asked me, they were like, "Would you want to do part two and be one of the openings for the film?" And I was like, "Yeah, I would love that."
So is that
So
Kimberly
very excited.
Cole? Kimberly Cole, who was on our show. She's the nun who I
Yes.
guess exercises the shark. So you're in the beginning of the film, then? Is that the thing?
There's a really good sequence that not to give too much away, but every most horror films have that opening kill scene, big extravagant scene to set that was me. So I don't think that really gives anything away, but I was really happy about that. So
Right. And so you're sort of the Drew Barrymore kill in the opening sequences. The
yeah.
shark calls and says, "What's your favorite movie?" And then you die from the shark. Right.
Um, I literally had to portray and study Drew Barrymore's character for another film that I did where I was playing twins. And it was in the house with the phone call, and they're like talking about me, saying what I'm doing, exactly like Screen.
What movie was that?
That was called Reunion from Hell. I don't have too much to say about that film, but it was really fun shooting it. And I did play twins, and I was also the Drew Barrymore of that film.
So, so okay. So let's talk about playing twins. How
Mhm.
often are you asking or are you asked to play multiple personality people, but both
Mm.
personalities in a film, not just the guy who has the
Um,
personalities, but actually be both.
I would say it's happened twice. One on my film, but mainly just that one film have I had like multiple personalities, and that was kind of the struggle I feel like to make them to separate them, which that's how you grow as an actor is you take what's the hardest and you do what you can with it. If it turns out good, great. If it turns out bad, I still think it's great because that was your learning experience. So,
How right? So I wonder. Let's like for instance, like Willem Dafoe, right? He's
mm,
and I hate to go to mainstream films, but he's so obviously as Norman Osborn, and then obviously as Green Goblin, right? Like, and he has like basically a two-sided personality without overdoing it, or even sometimes does Goblin overdo it? I'm not really sure. Like, how do you balance that, or does it take someone like Defoe to pull it off, like with
I
class?
I think it's all in the style and what you learn in acting. I am very method. So what's happening on set, like if I get punched, if I get hit, if I get, stabbed, whatever, besides the stabbing part, I'm always telling people, do it for real. Like if you're gonna hit me, and don't make it fake. So like there was this one scene, I got like slapped 30 times in the face and it was real. And they had to put makeup over it to hide the red hand mark that was on my face. But we kept having to do the scene over and over. So I think when you put yourself in a real situation, it's real to you. So it's no longer fake. It's no longer acted out. It's actually happening. So that's my style that I go for.
Right, but only to a point. I mean, you can't actually murder people and have the
Oh,
devil
true.
come
Yeah.
and
Luckily, I haven't had to be the bad guy yet. I'm always the victim, so I think I tell him just to go all out with it.
Oh, okay. So you're the guy who, okay, you haven't actually played the killer in your own film. Also, you're the victim.
I am I get possessed in my film. So I do turn slightly bad, but to a point, which I like your Ouija board, by the way. I've got one right here.
Oh,
So
sweet. Yeah.
yeah.
I,
Um,
I have one right here.
so I think that I think, up to a point it's real, but I think that's only when you're doing something really bad, like playing the bad guy. But for me, I tell everybody it's like I have no limit. Like you just do what you need to do and you get what you need to get, and I'm okay with that.
Whatever it takes to get the scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's talk about the Ouija board. Obviously,
Yeah.
you included it in your movie Deadly Dealings. You included that. I think I saw. Is that the one from your film?
This one actually is from my film, so it is custom made, and I don't know if you can actually see it. It's very sparkly, which is the theme for the film. But it's made out of resin, and I have the planchet here as well. It's one of my favorite things that I got to keep from my film, um, and it's also on the poster behind me. We use the same one for the poster, but that one, that film is the one film that I'm so proud of. Like, and not just because I directed it and wrote it, but because it came out unlike anything we ever thought it would be. So.
What is it? So you had let me back up because I want to spend some time talking about this movie. Obviously, it's your big movie. It's what you have coming out. The Ouija board. So you had
Mhm.
a custom designed board.
Uh,
Why did you decide to custom design it, not use a real one?
Everything in the film is almost custom made. The outfits I hand sewed, a lot of them, designed them. We hand built sets. I spent probably about $1,500 just on fabric alone. Um, and then just designing, buying things, piecing it together, resewing it. We had a lot of leather. That's one of the themes, like a harness, and I bedazzled it out with gemstones. Um, we the whole demon outfit, I designed it as well. I don't know if you've seen pictures of it, but it's
I saw
very elaborate.
the teaser
Yeah.
trailer for it. Yeah.
I mean,
So
even this, I've got this harness, which is also custom designed as well. If
wow.
you can see that.
So
So
and you created all these?
this one was made by an artist that I ordered this from. So I didn't do this one, but I incorporated it into something that I did design. So
Wow. So
that
you're
one,
not just writing it, acting in it, directing it. You're also set designing. Uh, you
everything.
know, yeah. I mean, including the costumes. I don't know that I've seen or talked to an independent guy that's hand sewing his own costumes. Like
Yeah, I
that's
think it's really important. A lot of indie films don't do that, and they don't piece together their characters, what they're wearing, their makeup, their jewelry. They never piece together like, oh, just come and bring something casual, and then you just show up and you're in what you're in. I'm not like that. If you are on camera, I want it to be cinematic, aesthetic. We had a lot of pink in this film. It was our theme, pink and purple and blue. So one of the characters, played by Jessa Flux, she her character is one of my favorites because we wanted to anna Nicole Smith for inspiration. So she had all the same makeup, all pink, a ruffled apron, jewelry, diamonds all over her,
the
went
girl in the
all out.
bed.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
she, that one is actually Ronnie Jonah, and we
Oh,
bought this beautiful ruffled robe that was a few hundred, and it was elaborate, and then we put the kimono underneath. And of course, everybody in the film had to have Astroglide rubbed down all over them, and they had to have glitter poured on top of them, pressed and hairsprayed over their entire body. So,
and you had people willing to do that.
yes, they were like, once they saw what it looked like, they were like, yes. So that was a blast.
I wait for the day that I show. Did you tell your actors ahead of time that they're going to have this done, or do they show up and you go, "Hey, by the way, guys, it's time to get slick"?
I don't think that nobody, when they arrived to the set, no one was prepared what we were about to do. They knew what I was going for, but I don't know if you've ever seen The Love Witch, but The Love Witch is a really put together film with aesthetics, and I wanted to do something similar, not in the film, but how it was put together. And I love making sure that each and every little frame that's on that camera it's magnifying your eyes right to it, like you're just sucked right in. So there was nobody knew what it was going to be and what they were going to have to do when they arrived, especially the clothing. I was like, make sure like you send me pictures of everything that you own. I want to pick out everything. And they're like, oh, okay, like, then finally like a week later people were sending me stuff and I was like, nope, nope, nope. And then I found be like, yes. So they got turned down a lot, and I feel like they were like, okay, he's probably OCD, but no, it was just it was a very stylized film.
Are you saying you turned down actors based off their wardrobe, or are you saying you you told the actors you chosen don't wear any of that?
They would send me stuff, and I just told them no, we can't wear that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
What you own is this clothing. So you then went out and found costuming, and so they weren't sure, or you told them bring these
yeah.
accessories, and you then what's the next
Some
step?
of them,
How did it work?
some of them had clothes that would work, and I was like, great. But especially like a lot of the girls that were in the film, they had to buy the outfit, and I would pay for it. That way, they make sure they had it mailed to them and it fit. But that's why I was bringing up Jessa. Was her character was very, she went all out for that role, um, and she would give me like this huge list of all these like dresses and gowns and um, robes, and I was just like, okay, I want this one, this one, this one. We can't have that. It doesn't look right. It doesn't go with our lighting. But anything that was dark, like what I'm wearing now, nobody could wear dark clothes. I didn't want anybody to have anything dark on. So everything's kind of like an Easter egg. Everybody looks like an Easter egg in it.
Well, just from the trailer, like you were talking about the purples and the pinks, and it's really, really visually cool to look at. Let's talk about the guy.
Yeah.
How much did choosing the actor to portray the demon? How much did their look come in? Like, I mean, like physically look. Like when you're choosing it, they often ask me because I'm tall to be a bad guy or to be a monster. So how much of their physical appearance was it, or was it how much can they portray the character? Like choosing the demon. How did you go about that?
Um, Dixie Gares had recommended I had two production managers that worked with me in pre-production, and that was it, just us three. And they were doing more of the work that was like behind the computer. And she had worked with a guy named Connor McCarthy on a film, and he was super talented. And I had saw him in a trailer, and he was just bizarre. Like he was acting bizarre. I love the way he talked. And I talked to him and I was like, "Have you ever seen the Powerpuff Girls?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Have you ever seen him from Powerpuff Girls?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I want you to take that and I want you to come back and I want you to show me what you got." And sure enough, he came, he got the role. And we were filming. When we got done filming, there was a lot of people that were sitting there and they were like, "You know what? Like, you remind me of him from the Powerpuff Girls." And I was like, I didn't tell anybody. He didn't tell anybody. But it was just when you give Connor something to work with, he really works with it. And he does it like he makes it his own. So he's not just copying. Um, and he did a really good job with it. So that's how he got the role and into the role of Aisling.
So, and how long does he spend in the makeup chair? His costume looks extravagant.
I think that the hardest part was actually getting into the costume because it was bondage wear, you know? Um, so getting into the costume was the hardest. Like I had to help him get the straps on, get it latched, and then we got him over to the makeup table, and they spent a good minute trying to get all the prosthetics on, and then coloring the prosthetics and matching his skin tone and um, airbrushing it, and then basically then comes the lube. You've got all over you with glitter everywhere. So
So you had him go through the whole makeup process and then like sparkled him out or lubed
yeah,
him or whatever you say.
yeah, just
So
lubed them up. Yeah,
I've never had a director call me and say, "Have you seen the Powerpuff Girls?" I've never gotten that one before. I imagine that's a pretty good lead-in.
yeah.
Okay, so he then gets sparkled up. So when you say a good minute, I mean, what are we talking about? 4 hours? Like,
I wouldn't
are we
say
talking
4 hours.
about,
I'd say it probably at least a good hour and a half, probably maybe 2 hours to get all the
that's not
prosthetics
bad.
in. Yeah,
Wow. And
but
then,
some of them had to sit in a chair, like with the kills stuff. When they got the prosthetics on, they might have been blinded or couldn't move or speak or for like 5 hours or longer.
wow, so you asked your actors to really endure for the kill scenes.
Yeah, yeah.
Man. And that's so let's talk about some other things that you were inspired by. I noticed that you were on your because I stalked you a little bit, which is something I do before the guest comes on. You know, I have to know about the guest. So, but you seem to be really inspired by the Texas Chainsaw thing. You watched all the
Oh,
chainsaws, or currently, and then I noticed there was a scene where you have a chainsaw in your film.
yes. I love chainsaws. I think they're fun. They're not really used much anymore, I don't feel like. And that and a skiff are my two favorite things to want to use. So I did get the chainsaws, and they are prop chainsaws that actually move. They were a little bit hard to track down. We altered them a little bit, um, but the chains really move on them, and that way we didn't have to, take it off and it be like, oh, well, where's the chain on the chainsaw? So um, with that, a lot of the film was inspired straight from my dreams that I have, and I don't know if do you remember the little moon man from McDonald's? I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah,
Like,
you mean Mac Tonight?
yeah, okay, I had
The
a
guy with the
dream.
moon head who he's like, it's Mac Tonight, and you should eat this crap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
him.
had a dream when I was younger that he was chainsawing me in half. So that's kind of where that dream sequence comes from, when I was getting chainsawed and I wanted, the long face. I'm not going to do a moon, but I did a plague mask that has LED lighting all around it. And they've got gemstones on their harnesses. They've got blood all over them. And my lead, Ronnie, well, she plays Mary in the film, and Mary's brother died like 2 years prior. So she's really sad. Her family's not the same, and they play with a spirit board to talk with her brother that her roommate who's into witchcraft introduces her to. So from there, uh, when the demon gets unleashed out of the board, Aisling is a dream demon. So I used the name Aisling. Um, and I wanted to incorporate like a kind of like a massacre, like Texas Chainsaw, and that dream that I had. So I brought in the chainsaws with the guys, and they go straight into this like big. It was gorgeous. It was like this big dome that we created with this like shimmering fabric and this like amazing gown that she's in. And she's got like a crystal crown on. It's really, a lot of people say it's like Labyrinth meets Evil Dead with a little bit of Pet Cemetery. So it was elaborate. It was fun. That's where the chainsaw guys come from.
Yeah, I kind of got lost after you said that dude from McDonald's was sawing you in half in a dream. Like
Yeah,
that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Like I love how inspiration can come from anywhere. And you were like, yo, when I was a
yeah,
kid, that dude at McDonald's cut me in half. And I mean, that's wild. I had this poster of Darth Vader that used to come to life at night, and he would instruct the stormtroopers to like shoot at me on my bed. So like, I totally get what you're talking about, you know. And the good news is the stormtroopers couldn't hit me,
yeah,
obviously. But wow,
yeah.
you. So you decided to go ahead with this like dream sequence and put it in your movie. I absolutely love that. You mentioned that they use the spirit board to contact the demon or those things in the film. Uh,
Mhm.
do you personally believe that Ouija boards are real? Do they contact people?
I think so. I've had a bad experience one time, and what it was a few years ago, when I lived with my friends in an apartment, I had bought a Ouija board, and we were messing around with it, and I accidentally cut myself and got blood on it. And I was really afraid. But what started happening was I was having sleep paralysis. I would be paralyzed in my sleep, and I'd wake up, and I got paralyzed one day, and a pillow went over my face while I was like awake but couldn't move. And that after that had happened, I had these bruises around my neck, all the way down my arms, um, my chest, my legs, and I had horrible nightmares. And that's actually where a lot of Deadly Dealings comes from, is these nightmares that I had during this time. So
And so you feel like it was your blood that caused it to happen?
I don't know.
Like is that like
I don't truly know. And maybe I don't want to know, but it was a lot of freaky stuff was happening. We were like sitting in our living room one day, and we had guests over, and the refrigerator was probably like 15 feet away, and there was an empty rum bottle on top, and it was like a Bacardi Gold, and a pretty big bottle, and it flew off the refrigerator and knocked me out. And when I came to, the guests had already left. So they never wanted to come back to the house.
Oh, they were
And
spooked.
they were very spooked.
Okay,
And
they were like, "Yo, peace. We left you lying on the floor,
yeah,
bruh." Like
so
that.
I think, yeah, I think, well, there was somebody else. My roommate was there with me, so like he was attending to my head. But that's why I do believe in spirit boards. I believe that there is a way to contact it. Um, do I go deep into it? No, but I had to study it for this film, so
Okay,
I
so
used a
you
lot of
right.
that.
So you're sitting there with a board. You made a custom board. You can't be too worried that you might get hit by the Kahlua bottle next. You know.
Yeah. So,
So what about so then you believe in ghosts as well?
I do believe in ghosts. We actually had, I'm not going to say which film it was. There was a film set that I was on, and we were filming in a house that all the neighbors came to us and like, why are you staying here? It was a house that they had turned into like renting it out to just get people to stay there. And there was a lot of weird things. There was like, it was a three-story house with a massive basement. It was like beautifully decorated. It was very old. And you would just be sitting there, and there would be somebody that looked like they were from like 1933 just walking through the house. And um, one of the actors had gotten attacked, and when we found him, he was twisted in such a way that he looked dead and he was not breathing. Um,
Wow.
so we almost had to call 911. Um, and he said there was a person here. I was talking to him when I saw the person walk in, and I got too freaked out. I wanted to leave. Some of the cast wanted to leave. They didn't want to stay at the place. It was a really bad experience. I just feel like you should always just kind of, I don't know if it's ghost or whatever, but I feel like you should always kind of like stay where you feel comfortable and nobody wants to be there. So,
Right, right. If you feel the energy in the building is not good, you should probably leave before the house starts
yeah,
to shift and traps you in a glass box with a weird clock in the middle.
exactly. Yeah,
That's the way I look at it, right? If you're going to leave.
yeah.
So what if you had called 911? What would you have said? Yo, my buddy's over here. He got mangled by a ghost.
I have no idea, but I mean, I never believed in stuff like that. Like prior to it, that was the instance that really got me to believe in it. And I just don't mess with it.
Right.
So, yeah.
So so Ouija boards, ghosts. What about possessed sharks? Could that be a thing?
Oh, I think it definitely could be. I think Donald made it happen. So I think that
Right. If
anything's possible.
if anyone can do it, it's him. Right. And
Yeah.
uh, and so then the next question is then do you believe in cannibal hookers? Is that a thing?
Oh, yeah, that's definitely a thing. It needs to be a thing. I love Cannibal
It,
Hooker. It's
so
it's
if
just
you
such
if
a
you
fun film.
if you met a cannibal hooker, would you be like, "Yo,
I
I'm your
think
food
that
now"?
there was actually a real Cannibal Hooker. Um, if you look it up, there was a woman who got arrested for that. Like she actually like killed somebody and ate them. If I'm not mistaken, I was like researching this not too long ago, actually. So
Was she from Tennessee?
no, I think she was actually from Florida, if I'm not mistaken. But everything
That
happens in
makes more
Florida.
way more sense, right? That was going to be my other guess next. If she's not from Tennessee, she has to be from Florida. Absolutely. Shout out to
Yeah.
producer Warren Madden, living in Florida. Watch out for cannibal hookers. Uh, Tell us, obviously, Deadly Dealings, folks. That's the movie we're talking about. Adam Freeman directed, written, created the costumes, everything. Tell us what you have coming up besides the release of Deadly Dealings. Tell us when that is. Tell us what you have coming up.
So what's coming up right now is I'm waiting to get music back from Vestron Vulture, who's doing the score. He's doing an original full score, a full album for Deadly Dealings, and he said it's like his favorite so far. I don't know if anybody's ever heard Vestron, but he's amazing. His music's amazing. He has incredible followers, a lot of followers, and his music is just synthwave and just wave type music. So that's what's coming up right now. I'm excited for that album to come out and people to hear it. I have another film that I'm supposed to be doing called Curse of the Weird Year. It's coming up within about a month, I believe, and it's about a instead of a werewolf, a weird deer. So That's through I want to say
And do you
Trauma.
know, that's going to be a trauma film? That's fantastic. So is that, do you
Yeah.
know, is it like a Wendigo? Does it walk on two legs? Is it, how does that work?
I'm not really sure. I mean, like I've read the script, but just trying to visualize what they are doing. I mean, I know it's going to be outrageous and hilarious. So I'm really excited to get to work on it. There's a lot of puns in it. That's I just couldn't even say it in real life. So
Where are they filming that? What state do they film that? Where do you?
I think it's going to be filmed a good bit of it here in Tennessee. Possible. I don't know if they're doing a little bit more in Kentucky, but I know most of it's going to be in like Middle Tennessee mostly. So that's coming up. I was part of another film. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it on here. It's kind of a curse word, but it's
You can
coming out
say
on
it.
DVD. Okay, it's called Fucked. Fukt. Fukt. It's an anthology that was directed by all women for an extreme horror anthology. Uh, I think the thing behind it is somebody was like, oh, do women really like horror? Do they really like extreme horror? Can they do it? And somebody was like, yeah, they can. And they got all these female directors. One of them is Dixie Gares, and she got us in. Well, she got me in the role, and that was one of the best times I ever had. It was super bloody, lots of special effects, and having to be tied to a chair for 4 hours and have drinking an iced coffee, you have to pee, and it's like you can't move. You got all these prosthetics on you. So it was a really fun experience.
Yeah, that sounds like it. Holding your pee for 4 hours. Kids want to be an actor,
Yeah, yeah. Hey,
right?
it
That's it.
happens, it's like there's so many things that you do, especially in acting, that you would never probably do if you weren't an actor, So, one of them is like going through the pain, like getting slapped, punched, hit, kicked, thrown down a flight of stairs, getting your head bashed in, or, being tied up and not being able to pee for 4 hours. And that, it's just really fun. But sometimes you look back and you're just like, "Ooh, I can't believe I did that," because it's a lot on film. So I've learned to just kind of take it and say, you know, a lot of people are like, "I don't want that on my resume," or "I don't want my real name associated with this." I'm just that person that's like, if you're gonna do it, I'll go all the way and just be proud of it. So
I love it, and I love that you're so dedicated to your own, the length that you're going to make an independent film with all of what you're putting into it. I don't see that, in some directors. I don't see the dedication of what it takes to make a film,
yeah,
become really cinematic. I think what I love what you're talking about on there. Tell the people where they can
yeah.
find you, so they can follow what's coming up. So they can see Deadly Dealings and these things. Tell us where can they find you at?
I have a website that's on my personal Facebook that I have a lot of my acting stuff, like my resume, testimonies of working with me, where you can buy my films, and a link to buy my films. Which I think right now there's only like two out, or there's I think three. I don't have one over here, but like Chili Madly's on Blu-ray, Cannibal Hookers is on Blu-ray, and it comes with an extra film of Hooker with a Hacksaw. Um, but you can also buy
A bonus
films
hooker
of
with a
Vinegar Syndrome.
hacksaw doesn't get any better.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. So I'm sorry I interrupted you, but when you said there was a
Oh,
hooker
you're
with a
fine.
hacksaw there too, that's better than a hobo
Yeah.
with a shotgun.
Yeah,
Like,
I
I
love
mean,
Hooker the Hacksaw. It's so fun. Um, and like I said, you can now get like and what I think is really cool is like films like this, you know, there's obviously they obviously have like their following, but you can now get this on Vinegar Syndrome. That's really surreal to me. Um, just because I love Vinegar Syndrome. And that's pretty much like, what I've got going on right now and what's coming up. I did write numerous scripts, and I am going to be doing a project here later this year. Um, I'm not sure if I want it to be a sequel to my film Deadly Dealings, or if I want it to be its own thing. but it's going to have like anything that I do is going to have the same aesthetics. So you can find me on my personal Facebook, the Daily Dealings page, and then I also have a website that you can check in, check into
And
and look at.
is that adamfreeman.com?
It's Adam Freeman at Webadar. So it's like a free website where you can like personalize everything, like make columns and put your reel up. You can put just so much stuff like links to stuff and make a button for it. So I really went in and just like designed it all, and it's basically for free. So like you just have to add like Webadar at the end of it, and it's free. So
Nice.
yeah,
That works out. So that's another good tool
yeah,
for actors. Adam,
yeah.
before I let you go, I've really enjoyed talking to you, man. A lot of great stuff,
Thank you.
a lot of good fun. Before I let you go, tell any final words, anything for the aspiring actor, somebody who wants to get out of their coffee shop and make a movie.
I would say follow your dreams. And I know that sounds so cliche, but you know, it's so easy to get into. Like to me, acting was easy, and you know, I did it basically from just saying like, "Hey, I'm going to be an actor," to actually going out and doing it. Follow your dreams, and know your stuff. And it's important to, the most important thing I think for actors is be safe because there's a lot of, you see a lot of the things that happen on sets and stuff like that. Know who you're working with, meet them prior to go up and just drive up and meet them. References, check your references on people and just check them out. So,
Man, that's it right there. You said it, dude. Man, I
yeah.
appreciate that. Thank you for being a guest this week on Coffee Breaks Thursdays.
Thank you for having me.
Folks, that's it. We'll see you next week. We got Felicia Rose from Sleepaway Camp. Adam Freeman, thank you so much for being here. Coffee Breaks Thursdays with Jason Zlatkus. Bye, everybody.